We're not the typical homeless shelter. I believe that when the average person pictures a homeless shelter, they're thinking of cots on a gym floor. That's not IHN.
IHN was designed to utilize the existing spaces that we already have in congregations in order to provide overnight shelter. And it's a very cost-effective model to be able to use those spaces to invite a welcoming environment where folks can eat dinner together, enjoy time with their family in spaces that are warm and welcoming and so much different than an institutional shelter setting. And that's what I think is especially unique about IHN.
It is a program for serving homeless families and single women in Johnson County. It's not a homeless shelter, but rather it's a program, a 90-day program.
The church has transformed classrooms, used religious ed on Sunday, into bedrooms a week at a time. And so our families have their own room for a solid week for our guests, and we term them as guests because we recognize it could be any one of us. They are able to experience the unconditional love of the volunteers that are giving their time, talents, and treasures at the host congregations in the evening.
Our families here learn some things that they may have never learned before. They may have never learned how to budget before, and they learn that here. They pick up financial literacy. That has implications for the next generation. That's the impact of IHN in the long run.
In a suburban community, we don't have a lot of static site shelters, and so many folks that need services would have to go into the inner city in order to receive those services.
Something happened in their life that they fell on hard times and they lost their way. We're simply providing the support and education to get them back on the track to long-term sustainable housing.
Our guests are situationally homeless, which means that prior to being homeless, they were having a job or they were living a normal kind of life, and something happened to them.
We have been able to lift up 874 individuals, and those numbers are remarkable. We are closing right in on 900, but the real key here is that 502 of them are children.
There might not be a more successful program in Johnson County to have 70% of our graduates go into permanent housing.
You know, this could happen to anybody. Could this happen to me sometime?